All right, welcome back. We continue to follow the latest on the move in UnitedHealth Group shares. You can see them there. It's been a very rough week, down 27% on this week. One of our headlines today is that you sold it, you got stopped out, right? I guess that's the point of having a stop. If a stock is going to fall out of bed, you want to have a stop.
Well, there's a lot more to it in terms of risk management, because in February we had 6% in this position, same as there was in the Dow Jones, which if we had owned it today in a 6% position, I wouldn't be smiling or having a really great afternoon. But we sold 2% on February 21st. That's when the first DOJ news came out. We sold it at 455. We talked about it on the show. We had a note that said, where there's smoke, there's sometimes fire. Now, granted, in hindsight, it would have been brilliant if we had sold all of it then. We didn't. So we had 4%. On Monday, we took it down to 2%. We did that because of the presidential order that came out. It was going against healthcare firms, drug firms. We didn't want the risk. So we sold it at 389 on Monday. Tuesday, Steve S-bombed the bed. Like, it went down a lot on Tuesday. We had a 2% position.
Yeah.
Wednesday, we sold another 1%, just trying to get out of it. And then yesterday was down another 40 points. So we're sitting on a 1% position. We're effectively stopped out. It's just operationally we'll be out of it today or Monday.
We said on the show yesterday you couldn't join us, but that you got out completely. You think the new news of the investigation is a bit of a game changer?
Yeah, somewhat. And as I was thinking about it after my comments the other day, so whether the investigation occurs or not, we're talking about the criminal investigation. They're already under a civil investigation.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, the management's coming in. It's distracting enough turning around a company. And now they've got the civil investigation, or they've had that, and possibly the criminal. But I actually think it's very cheap here, and that the next quarter, second quarter, if not the third, will be the kitchen sink quarter, and they'll reset. But here's why I did sell. Here's what was perhaps the biggest part of my thinking, which is that I don't think the stock's going anywhere. And since I have a decent-sized loss in it, why not harvest that loss, give me some flexibility to sell against gains, and I get past the wash sale rule in 30 days, 31 days. I can come back into it, and it may be likely that I do. So this stock, just until there's more clarity, and until that it's true that they're not investigating on the criminal side, which again is a distraction. I'm not suggesting the company did anything wrong. I actually find, knowing Steve Hemsley and John Rex, I find them to be of the highest, absolute highest integrity and excellent operators. But when you can do something for your portfolio and harvest loss, then why not do it?
I mean, the lack of clarity is a big issue, I guess, despite the fact that you think it's cheap.
But now, there's two very important fundamental points, which a lot of people don't know. And what that is that there's V28, which I've talked about, where they're essentially shrinking the codes, thousands and thousands of codes that allow you to get reimbursement. So the government's done that, so it's a much tougher to navigate that. We saw the hit in the first 2 years. The other thing that a lot of people don't know is value-based care, which is where the government wants every Medicare participant to go. And what that means is that the risk is shifted from the government to the insurer and to the docs. So if they don't, so if I give you $40,000 as the government, if it costs you more than $40,000 to treat a patient over the year, that's coming out of your pocket. And that's what part of what hit UnitedHealthcare. So they also bought took a lot of the Humana business, and as I said, didn't really underwrite it appropriately. So those all have to get out of the way. The V28 and the value-based care are the biggest headwinds against any company, any insurer, and most people don't know diddly about them, and the companies that have been aggressive there, like Cano, have gone bankrupt.
You literally had a filing of, 5 minutes ago, it looks like to me, in ballpark 5-6 minutes ago, where you had an insider purchase. A director bought $1 million worth of UNH stock, according to an SEC filing. I'm looking at it right now on FactSet, as some people pointed out on social that they had seen that. I wanted to just make sure I saw it with my own eyes before I said anything about it.
I'd expect to see more of it.
Yeah. The other news, and maybe plays into that, is that Stephanie Link actually bought more. Steph, she joined us on the phone right now. So
hi, Scott.
There is this lack of clarity. Even if you think it's cheap, to Weiss's point, and he would agree with you on that, it's superseded by all the unknowns that now exist, and now a even larger one, perhaps, with this criminal investigation.
Well, the stock is down 45% year to date. I think a lot of bad news is priced in. It's still the #1 managed care company in the world with scale in UnitedHealth and Optum. They have the #1 market share with 151 million people. They will reprice Medicare Advantage, the cost issues. They're going to do that, and that'll help 2026. And that's 31% of their total revenue, so it is a big piece, but they have other areas in their revenue stream. They have a strong balance sheet. They're going to do $25 billion in free cash flow this year, 1.2 times net leverage. They have a 3% yield and $5 billion left in their buyback. I expect another buyback to be announced, and it's trading at 8 times EBITDA. The 10-year average is 13 times EBITDA. And Helmsley is a proven winner as new CEO. From 2006 to 2017, the stock, when he was CEO, the stock was up 362%. So it will take time. I agree with Steve on that, but I just think there's an opportunity. Oh, by the way, the RSI is 12. That's crazy. Oversold.
Yeah. I mean, things can be cheap, obviously, for a reason. I mean, the stock is getting a little bit of a move here. And by the way, as I look at the filings, there were 3 insider buys, 3 directors buying shares of UnitedHealth Group, and all of these filings hit, let's say as of 12/23-ish. So really in the last couple handfuls of minutes. Steph, stay with me here for a minute, too, because, Rob, you're buying this, too?
I got the word that we haven't bought it yet, but we are looking to buy it. We own a very small piece. We sold it at much higher levels a while back. It's tough for me to bet against UNH. I mean, this is one of the most well-run businesses out there, to Steve's point, incredibly operationally efficient. Yes, it's a longer-term turnaround story, but we'd be more inclined to add here and likely will. Versus be a seller.
Can I give Lebenthal a shout out?
Yeah.
Lebenthal sold it over 400. I'm not sure where over 400, but he sold it because he had a different view of how the company was going. So just a shout out to Jim.
Yeah. Steph, I'm wondering if you have a reaction to the insider buys, which are, at least 3 that I see, and how long you'd be willing to stick around for a turnaround. You're not afraid to buy into a turnaround. Gosh, we know that. Not just where you think that, a CEO can make a big difference, whether it's a 3M or a GE with Larry Culp, for example, but when there's real problem, like a Boeing, for example, where you've owned the stock for a long time, you were willing to stick with it. I would suggest that situation was a little bit different than this in that, it's a duopoly, which obviously helps, and they had quality control and safety issues, which can be fixed with perhaps better oversight and leadership. But this could take a while, just given a lot of the smoke around it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it will take a while, but Boeing has negative $2.2 billion in free cash flow today, and they've seen a massive improvement over the last couple of years, and it's going to get better, and that's why I own it. But UnitedHealth, I mentioned, has $25 billion in free cash flow. You could do a lot with that kind of cash. And I expect, as I mentioned, the company will announce another buyback, another big buyback, because this company is still the leader in the industry. They will fix. This is fixable. It's just going to take time. They've got to reprice, and they're going to reprice, and they'll do that this year, and then that will help 2026 earnings. So I am willing to wait a while, especially when I have a new CEO who actually has been a huge leader and was really responsible for taking this company to the next level under his leadership.
All right. Steph, I really appreciate you calling in. I mean, it's a story that's changing a bit in real time. You can see the stock move. Link's a buyer. Some insiders are buyers within the last 20 minutes or so. We'll continue to follow that as well.